Hello and welcome to another special edition, a New Year's edition, a Christmassy, amazing celebration of the whole year of NFL edition of the SportsHeads. I'm your host, Andre Dixon. This is, of course, the Hurry Up. I'm joined by my friend, Dan Falui. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm happy, mate. Christmas is around the corner. Obviously not our traditional Christmas, but, mate, I've still got a lot to be grateful for. It's been a tricky year, but still it's a lot of things to be grateful for as well. So just excited going into the new year, really.
And I'm also joined by my bestie, my special friend, the bestest friend of all, Hannah Wilkes. How are you?
Hello. I'm good, thanks. Good to be back with you guys. I've missed you the last few weeks.
Yeah, we've had to struggle on our own to be able to, row the boat without you. It's not been the same, and there's been many squabbles and arguments without you being around. So therefore, you just have to be with us all the time. I'm sorry to tell you.
I do my best.
Hannah's really busy all the time, so we really do appreciate obviously her jumping on with us each week. She's been killing it on Sky. The Sky Sports NFL is killing it at the moment, and it's because of you, Hannah. And Hannah's not going to be, she's not going to be braggadocious like I am, but I'm going to brag for her.
Well, thanks. There are some other people involved in the channel.
It's just you. She handles all the cameras. She does all the scripts. She does everything. Even goes to adverts on her own, just with the switch. Pulls it with a string.
No, it's a great team effort. But no, I can't believe we're almost at the end of regular season, and it's all gone to plan, and we've played all the games, and it's been a great sort of start for the channel, which is good.
Well, I mean, we here are actually obviously jumping a bit ahead of time. But we're just really eager, and obviously we know that the NFL season is drawing to somewhat of a slower start, slowing down, because obviously teams are going to get ready for the playoffs. So you're not going to see your whole fantasy fans, but you're not going to see your stars for the whole entire game. They're going to get pulled at halftime, just like it happened with me with Russell Wilson halfway through the game. Not even that, I can't even remember, but I was due to win, and then because they pulled him, I lost. This is what you're going to have to deal with. So,
I have a solution to that. Do what I did this year in both my leagues and don't make the playoffs.
You're going to make the playoffs?
No.
How close were you from missing the playoffs, Hannah?
Oh, I was miles off. In one of my leagues, I had some really bad luck. And in the other one, to be honest, I kind of kept forgetting. We've got two lineups, and you can only focus on one. But hey, good draft position next year, so every cloud.
Oh, you in a keeper league?
No, we need draft next year.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you meant you get to keep your players.
Oh no, we need to start fresh next year.
No, I'm trying to. Go on.
So Hannah, do you think that because you know NFL so well that sometimes that maybe put a hamper onto your fantasy? Because I feel like the same thing with me is like, I'm thinking, they won't do that great, therefore sack it, and then they do great numbers.
I think I overthink it. I think I overanalyze, and depending on what platform you play, but I play on the NFL.com one, and when you go on the app, it'll like optimize based on like the computer and the matchup in that regard, and I'll look at it and be like, I am smarter than this computer. I know. Have they considered X, Y, and Z? Probably not. So actually, I'm going to do this. And a couple of times it really paid off, but by that point it was like, it is too late. So if anything, I overthink it. And next year, I'm just going to do what the computer tells me a bit more.
Sometimes we forget just how many people are involved in the actual ranking and the projections of the points. And we forget there's probably 10 people having conversations around tables that are planned way ahead and said, okay, this player is going to get this amount of points because of such and such and such, and we think we can outsmart them. Well, I've actually found out for the last 2 weeks that I can't outsmart them, but I'm in the playoffs. Dan has made the playoffs as well, just by literally last one game to go. He managed to get himself in there. So congrats to us, and congratulations to Hannah, who will be watching just like a regular fan, which is great. Yeah, you can concentrate on your work.
It's made it a less stressful Sunday experience.
It's going to be completely different. You're going to be able to actually enjoy the games.
I can, and I am doing well in the Pick'ems League that we do on across Sky Sports NFL. So to be honest, I've been putting all my energy on calling who's going to win these games correctly, and I'm doing well. So
well,
good.
next year we'll get Hannah to join our league as well, so she can feel the pain of this battle royal that we have every week. Like, honestly, I it makes me enjoy and hate NFL at the same time. But we're going to get on with the show. We are going to be going through all of our picks for different players of the year, the different positions. So we're going to start off with defensive rookie player of the year. I'm going to put to you guys, who do you think that meets the grade, beats everyone else? I'll start with, of course, Hannah.
I challenge anyone to make a case for anyone other than Chase Young. He has been superb for Washington. I think he's been all over the place, all over that field, making life really difficult as for the opposing QBs. He's one of 3 rookies in the last 20 years that have had more than 5 sacks, more than 3 forced fumbles, and scored a defensive touchdown in a single season, which I think speaks for itself. He's up there. There aren't many that have done what he's done. I think Washington as a whole are very much ahead of where we expected them to be. I think they're currently top of the NFC East, and they've got that kind of look of a team that you don't necessarily want to meet right now because they believe in themselves as well. And I think Chase Young has got a huge part to play in that. He's so dominant on the field. They played the 49ers in week 14. The 49ers did not score a touchdown. Chase Young was a huge part of that. And I think he's only missed 1 tackle in 35, and he's a rookie. So for me, Chase Young, and also I kind of have to go with Chase Young for this because Josh Denzel, my host on Overtime, literally started the Chase Young fan club, so I had to support him on this.
He seems definitely to have a lot of personality, and he brings a lot of a new insight to the game. It's not obviously usually a position that gets too much love. But he's definitely balling out. It's actually making me quite nervous being a Giants fan, as you guys can see, wearing my apparel for the first time in the whole entire season because I'm a bandwagon fan who only celebrates when we're winning. And I'm shameless when I say that. So, Dan, who have you got?
Hannah mentioned, Chase Young. For the sake of, the show, I'm actually going to go different. I did have Chase Young, but he was also number 2 to Jeremy Chin, the safety at the Panthers. A great shout. He's the first ever player to score back-to-back scoop and scores. That's never happened before in the NFL in over 100 years. That is incredible, especially for a rookie to do that. If anyone hasn't seen the clip, I beg you, go and see the clip. It's phenomenal and actually kind of crazy and surreal that he was able to do that on back-to-back plays. He's been one of the shining lights in a Panthers team that has been disappointing, to say the least, with their record. Hasn't been great. But he's a big reason as to why they've stayed competitive in some of the games they've had. It's hard for a safety sometimes to get the attention and the recognition that they deserve. It's usually on the corners. It's usually the linemen like a Chase Young. So I have to give it a shout out to Jeremy Chin, and he's growing and evolving in the game week by week. He's looking impressive even more. I do admit that Chase Young is great, but can we be surprised? Chase Young came number 2 overall in the draft, so it was expected. Jeremy Chin didn't. So, you've got to give some props to that as well, and where you come into the draft. And for that reason, Jeremy Chin gets my nomination for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
You know what? I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to have to go with Hannah on this one because Chase Young is, I'm sorry, Chase Young is.
That is why she's your bestie.
Yeah, I'm going to rock with her anytime.
I can't fault Jeremy Chin. Like you say, he's played brilliantly as well. I think what Chase Young's presence has done to that Washington defense is really transformative and is a big part of how they're playing and why they're in contention in week 15.
So let's move on to offensive rookie of the year. This is the one I'm really excited about. I'll start with you, Dan. Who have you got for that?
I initially had Joe Burrow, but obviously he got an injury, and so he can't finish the season. And for that reason, I can't. And I'm probably going to go with Jefferson, the Vikings wide receiver. Look, Herbert he's been there, but you've got to also give it to the fact that Herbert is doing stuff, yes, we didn't expect or anticipate, because of where he came from in Oregon. But you know, Jefferson's doing stuff that's unheard of for a rookie. You know, he's beating Randy Moss's record of sort of 5 games, with 100 yards receiving. You know, so he's beating Randy Moss's records for the Vikings. And let's not forget, Randy Moss is a Hall of Famer, arguably one of the top 3 wide receivers of the game, outside of maybe T.O. and obviously the GOAT in Jerry Rice. So what he's doing is unheard of, especially in the fact that you got to think about it. There was a time when Kirk Cousins, I think one game when they beat the Green Bay Packers, he threw it for 9 times. 9 times he threw it in a game. When you're getting that kind of reception from your QB and you can go over 100 yards 5 times, more than 5 times in the season, mate, you're doing wonders. So I think his route running is impressive. It's great. He's doing really well. For me, he's probably going to go there in terms of sort of offensive rookie of the year.
I mean, yeah, definitely I would agree. I think you're going to agree, Hannah. Yeah,
I can't disagree. That's exactly who I had down. I mean, Randy Moss himself has been like, he is the offensive rookie of the year. And he's a Hall of Famer, like you said, Dan. So he's got the endorsement from, you know, the biggest guy at the, you know, position. He's so hard to cover. He's got such great acceleration. He's everywhere. And yeah, he actually was one of the players that actually did do me some good in fantasy football this year. So I will be well, that not only has he performed on the field, he's also brought the gritty into our lives, which is what we all needed in 2020.
That is the one. That is like the dance. You know, but I'm gonna go to a different direction for you guys. I'm gonna go with Justin Herbert. Like, you know, as you guys know, that QB is the, you know, wide receivers can take a bit of time to be able to get into the season. You know, sometimes they even give you 2-3 seasons to be able to come of age. You know, I think Justin Jefferson is, you know, it seems like he's been playing for a longer time, but you know, obviously the most scrutinized position is QB. Like, you literally have, if you stink up the joint, you have 1 season, not even that, half a season, and then they just replace you. You know, so for Justin Herbert to be doing the you know, what he's done, which is like pretty much take that franchise on his back and throw and make them excited. I mean, to be honest with you, when they had Philip Rivers, I pretty much would turn off the TV anytime he's on there, because it's weird. It's like he's exciting, but he's very boring as well. It's just like, you know.
What does Hannah have to say?
I don't think the word exciting for me is one that I associate with Philip Rivers. I'm
not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to jump on the bandwagon. I don't think Philip Rivers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there.
Everything today, it's a Christmas miracle.
This is weird. This is weird. I'm gonna start some trouble.
I've had this conversation a lot with a few people, and I wonder if it's almost not like an age thing, but a sort of when you came across Philip Rivers thing. And for someone who's followed the NFL for like 10 years or so, but only been like super into it in the last sort of 5-6, I think you kind of missed the peak Philip Rivers years, and therefore you're like, what's the hype? But back in the day, it was a proper gunslinger, wasn't he? And people loved him. So I don't know. That's my theory, but I'm with you, Dan. I'm like, I don't really.
I mean, when he started his career, yes, he overtook Drew Brees. How they did that is ridiculous. Whoever deserves that needs to go to a mental institution, because you pushed aside Drew Brees for Philip Rivers. Firstly, that's disgusting. Secondly, he had LT, a Hall of Fame running back. So we had a running back who is, you know, he led the league in touchdowns. That's unheard of for a running back at the time. So for me, he had weapons. He's always had weapons. The Chargers have always been able to draft well. I don't understand how. Never been able to really just execute that into a proper piece. And for me, I've never really seen the hype of Philip Rivers. Yes, okay, you know, nice guy, 9 kids or whatever. Cool, great. But for me, personally, too many interceptions. Doesn't put the team on the back enough. He's too much of a gunslinger, as you said, Hannah. He's a risk. He's a risk waiting to happen for me personally. And the Chargers have been irrelevant with Philip Rivers, who's supposed to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. And when you actually break it down, he came into the same draft class as Big Ben and Eli Manning. Both have Super Bowls. Both have 2 Super Bowls. Eli Manning took down the unbeaten Patriots. If Eli Manning has been discussed as a potential should he not borderline Hall of Fame, Philip Rivers should never be in the conversation. He should be all the way in Neptune. That's how far he should be away from that conversation.
But there's no discussion when it comes to Eli being in the Hall of Fame. You know, two-time, you know, MVP. of the Super Bowl.
That's
Two-time winner of the Super Bowl.
Still debatable.
Come on, it's. I don't think there's much debate. And anyone who says I'm being a homer, you're wrong in any way. It's but no.
You made the playoffs how many times?
This has nothing to do with that, and we're moving on.
Okay.
But shutting this down.
But no, definitely Justin Herbert. Like for me, you would think he's been playing in the league for years. So salute to you, sir. You have my vote, or you have my mention anyway, for whatever that's worth. Let's move on to offensive player of the year. I'll start from Hannah. Who have you got?
This one has given me a headache. I kind of wish we were doing like wide receiver, running back, quarterback, tight end. There's an argument for me for Travis Kelce. He's leading the league in receiving yards. That's impressive from a tight end and should not be overlooked just because we've come to expect this kind of level of play from the Chiefs offense. There's an argument for Derrick Henry. Because the man is an unstoppable running machine and he would be terrified to field at you. And he's performing at his sort of playoff level much earlier this year, and I think he's going to carry it on as well. Like, it's not like he's going to peak too soon. He's there. That said, I think I'm going to go with Davante Adams. He's had a great season, despite missing 2 games. He's tied for the league in touchdowns. That's with missing 2. He's scored in 8 games straight this season. That's a Packers record. He's always there for Aaron Rodgers. Like, Aaron Rodgers is a contender, you could say, for MVP. He has not got the receiving weapons of other quarterbacks in the league, but Adams is always there. He gets wherever he needs to go. He's the deadliest scoring threat, I think, in the league this season. So I've surprised myself with this pick, but I'm going Davante Adams.
I'm quite shocked.
I'm shocked as well. I was not expecting that.
I mean, he definitely. It seems like no one can actually cover him. I'd say maybe between him and Tyreek Hill, it's extremely difficult to cover those two. But obviously, he is not as fast as Tyreek Hill. He has to be a bit more elusive, tricky. Catching skills are ridiculous. It's definitely in the red zone. So for me, yeah, definitely. And obviously I'm completely biased because he's actually got me into the playoffs, being one of my wide receivers with DK Metcalf. Salute to me. But definitely I'm with you on that one.
I was actually for a long time going to say DK Metcalf, but instead I've actually got him for one of our other categories, and I think
I know where you're going with that one.
Wanted to spread the love.
You're spreading it around. Dan, what you got?
Mate, it's tricky because, as Hannah said, Travis Kelce, and I just want the audience to understand this, he's had 5+ seasons over 1,000 yards receiving. That's unheard of as a receiver. He's leading the league in receptions as a tight end. That's unheard of. For me, Gronk, I put Gronk, Shannon Sharp, and Gonzalez as the top 3 tight ends of all time. Travis Kelce, if he continues like this in maybe another season or 2, adds another ring, without a shadow of a doubt, he's the greatest tight end we've ever seen play NFL. Without a shadow of a doubt, if he continues on this trajectory. So shout out to Travis Kelce. That is unheard of. For me, I'm gonna show some love to the running backs. I'm gonna have to go Derrick Henry. Look, in terms of QBs, they're gonna probably win the MVP. You're probably between Mahomes or Rodgers. But for me, you cannot dismiss number 22 in Tennessee. I think he's had one bad game, and that was the Cleveland game. Outside of that, he's solid. He leads the league in rushing yards. He's going to be rushed back-to-back rushing yards title in terms of the rushing king title. He is a beast. He is hard to stop. People see him. They are afraid of him. He makes grown men look like kids. Shout out to Josh Norman over there in Buffalo. He is just a phenomenal athlete. He's a phenomenal professional athlete. And what more can you say, really? Back to this in second half, he just seems to grow. He just seems to grow and grow and grow, and he tires the defenses out. And he's probably the best running back in the league at the moment right now.
I think I'm going to say this, for shame on both of you two, because, all right, we could talk about Mahomes. Mahomes done really well. He's done what he's expected to do. Tyreek Hill has been lighting it up, and I'm just wondering if anyone can ever stop this man. He must have some go-go gadget juice that he drinks before each race. Race. It is a race with him.
It's not a race. It's just him.
It's just him. He's just running, and that's it. I want to see him and Henry Ruggs going at it to see who's the fastest. That's something we need to definitely see. And obviously, we could mention DK Metcalf as well, who's been ridiculously entertaining. He doesn't seem like he's a normal size of a human being. But let's go with the man who had the most pressure on him. And this is no bias in any form of way. I think you all know where I'm going to be going. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had some serious pressure because obviously the whole talk of the offseason was, is he going to be getting replaced? Is it time up? Is he getting on with the head coach? Yada, yada, yada. And this man has came in and lit up the whole of the NFL. And he's performed well, extremely well, in all but one game against the Bucs, where he didn't feel like it because he was a bit tired. But part of that, it was literally, he's been amazing. And this is not me being a bandwagon fan and my love for Rodgers, which I've just realized this is quite obvious, where we have two jerseys here and here. But no, come on, this guy, come on. Can you not guys agree that this man has had ridiculous amount of pressure and performed?
Oh, yeah, can't argue with it at all. This was the hardest one to pick out of all the categories. And Aaron Rodgers is definitely up there for me. He's had a phenomenal season. He's bashing records left, right, and centre. I'm just because quarterbacks are always given so much attention when it comes to sort of player of the year. I just went with his main man, Devontae Adams.
Dre. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Look, Aaron Rodgers he's been phenomenal. He's actually been phenomenal. His numbers have been great.
I think I know where this is going.
Am I surprised by it? No, because he's Aaron Rodgers. Am I also surprised by him? No, because you also got to think about the Shanahan coaching tree. Matt LaFleur was in Washington with who else? Mike Shanahan. And when you look at Mike Shanahan, when you look at the coaches that have been in it, second year under that system, they all seem to go to the Super Bowl. John Elway, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't do it, be disappointed from there. But look, they've got a track record in terms of that, sort of that zone blockage, run down, using the running backs. Look, Aaron Rodgers has been great. But I just feel like you got to show some love to some players that don't really get that much love and respect. And, end of the day, when you look at Tennessee, let's just remember this. We saw that QB in Miami do what he did, and he looked awful. You give him Derek.
See the back of him. So
thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Now, Tannehill's got who? Derrick Henry, King Derrick Henry, and now all of a sudden
AJ Brown. Don't forget AJ Brown. It's a three-man team. True.
Give you that. Shout out to AJ Brown, one of the best catches of the season. But that being said, and then boom, now he looks like a competent quarterback. That is what the power of a running back can do to you. LT made Phillip Rivers, as I said before, look more like a Hall of Fame quarterback. So in that respect, you got to show some love to other positions.
But particularly to you, Dan, for shame award of the year goes to you.
Why?
Because you know why? You haven't mentioned this man here, which is absolutely scandalous. Mr. Russell Wilson. Come on, man.
No.
You got to rock with your team at least.
I rock with my team, but also I'm not going to lie. I have to be honest with you, and fans expect me to be honest. Russell Wilson has been a great first half of the season quarterback, tends to be a great first half season quarterback, tends to flake in the second half. And I'm not going to lie, Russell is burning the food right now. Man's left the oven on way too long. He's burning the food. It isn't sizzling. It's not nice. It's just...
The turkey's dry.
Dry.
It was burned.
You see this. You see this. Like this is. I believe in you, Russ. If all of these two don't, so when we see all each other in person, walk past them and give me the dap and maybe a jersey as well, because these two are traitors. Especially the one who supports your team, and this other one here is a Rams fan who has all things to gain if you mess up. So that's why.
I picked the Seahawks to make the Super Bowl this year. preseason. So, I'm not completely biased in my Rams fandom, but do ask me who my defensive player of the year is.
This definitely is coming now. So on to this. The defensive player of the year, Hannah, please give it to your Aaron Donald award.
It is such a hit. And I tried to sell myself completely on TJ Watt so that I couldn't get accused of just being an Aaron Donald fan girl. But my heart couldn't do it. And Aaron Donald, look at it like this. Aaron Donald is on pace for his lowest PFF grade for a season ever. But he is still the highest PFF rated defensive player in the league. It's like when Aaron Rodgers earlier this year said, if I have a bad year, it's still better than everyone else's.
Damn right.
That is what Aaron Donald is. I'm getting more Aaron's confused. That is what Aaron Donald is defensively. The Rams defense is the best in the league right now. He is the kingpin of that. We know that. He leads from the front. He's got 12.5 sacks at the time of recording. He terrifies offenses. And the success of the Rams defense is so much down to the attention he draws. He's always double teamed. Sometimes there's an extra person on there as well, which allows the rest of the defense to get everywhere and do what they need to do. What he does is just insane for an interior defensive lineman. And I just can't really, I just can't see past it. He's just so good at what he does. He's so athletic as well. I think for a guy of his size, he is everywhere. He's fast. He is jumping through holes and over people. And I think it's not been his best season by far, but I can't see anyone who's consistently better than he is. And he's had a couple of bad games this year, but he's still top of the league in sacks.
Dan, can you argue with that?
Yes. I mean, I always can. I might not be right, but I can always argue. And I am going to argue against that because for me, again, look, at the time of recording, if this was done maybe 2-3 weeks ago, my argument would have been completely solid. But I have to go with TJ Watt. He's basically, you got Bud Dupree. Yes, he's a great defensive player. But TJ Watt is probably the lifeblood of that Steelers defense. And obviously, I know they lost 2 games, but you still need to remember that the Steelers were on course to be on an unbeaten record season. I didn't think they were going to do it, but that's here and there or there. He's just been great. Okay, he's just half a sack behind Aaron Donald, and they've got a better record. And his team leads the league in sacks. So for me, TJ Watts puts pressure on the defense. He can get after the quarterback. Steelers defense is not what I'm worried about. It's their offense, and that's the reason why they're losing. They lost the last 2 games. But mate, when you look at the Steelers defense, my eyes tell me that he is their captain for the defense. He is solid. He's just shy behind Aaron Donald. And he's just great. Now, don't get me wrong, I will give it to Aaron Donald because for an interior lineman, for those who don't know, that's very hard to get that many sacks. You usually get it from the edge rushers. So it's phenomenal what he's doing. But for me, when I look at it, they've got the best the Rams have got the best corners in the league. So, I know that they can, basically allow Donald to do his thing and cover the wide receivers. Do I think, Steelers have the best, cornerbacks? No. Vincent Patrick is great, but that's about it. So for me, yeah, it's TJ Watt.
I'm leaning. I'm actually going on to the NFC East. We can stop calling it at least now because our teams are starting representing. Where obviously sorry. There's one team before I go into the NFC East. Myles Garrett. I've never been a big fan of him as a person. I find some of his behaviors quite questionable and statements questionable, but which I won't get into that one before Sam repeats that I'm some type of Browns hater. I don't know how I got that. I think it's maybe something to do with Odell Beckham. Anyway, it's I was just actually astounded with him. He's like a man possessed. He actually reminds me of Aaron Donald, the way that he's been playing, where people have been double teaming, triple teaming, you can't stop him. He wants that ball, and he's been getting I think he had so many sacks in a row. I don't know what the actual stat was, but it's just like on fantasy, if you're looking at it and you're excited about your running back getting in to be able to get some points for you, he's always the person to stop that and blow that up. So definitely that. But I mean, what I would go for, and this is not my homer pick, but this man has carried this team on his back. and gotten us to a potential playoffs position, Jabril Peppers. Like, he has been amazing. Like, you know, he didn't have the best start, before, but like he's just been literally like our in defense. And before Dan comes in with any nonsense,
get your boy. Hannah, get your bestie. Come for your bestie,
what
please.
I will say, to be fair,
she's going to agree with me. I'm telling you.
I can't, in all good consciousness, put a Giants player as defensive player of the year.
Thank you very much. What?
Honourable mention.
They had one very good defensive showing against the Seahawks. They shut Russell Wilson down, and that was impressive and made us all sit up and pay attention. When you can do that every week, then you can talk to us.
But the thing is that he has, and I would say it's him personally who's actually got us to this position of going from where we were so terrible. Like, he doesn't deserve to be better than Aaron Donald for sure, but definitely he needs an honourable mention.
So what's your record?
Yeah, we're not talking about the stats. It's just the eye test.
What's your record? Where does your defense rank in the league? That's what I thought. Okay, so you cannot be putting him there. You cannot be putting him.
He does deserve an honourable mention.
No. An honourable mention will be someone like Xavier Howard at Miami, who's leading the leagues in interception. That's an honourable mention, and he's been a great addition to Miami. And Miami are looking, mate. They allowed Patrick Mahomes to have the first ever 3 interceptions a game in his career in the NFL. That's an honourable mention. Can you please, my friends, away with this?
Hannah, you know what? You're going to get another addition to your a bandwagon member for the Rams this year, just because of him up there in the other square, dissing my team in any opportunity. So now I'm going to...
The record be shown. I said the Giants were a better team than their record, and they might win, and they will win the division. So let that record be shown.
You don't compliment us enough. That's what it is. Hannah does.
Just welcome to Los Angeles.
Thank you very much. I'll get my shades. So let's go on to the angriest run. My favorite category. Obviously there's been so many ridiculous ones that make you just scrout. From the other end of the rooms. If someone's in another room, someone's going to hear "ooh" or something like that along those lines. So Hannah, start off with you. Who's got your angriest best run of this season?
My angriest run of the 2020 season is DK Metcalf chasing down Buda Baker. Hands down.
I like that.
Like, what was it, 96 yards? He chased him down. You see Buda Baker look back, think, oh my God, and then he gets him. It was great to see someone like DK Metcalf pivot, man of his size, and just go hell for leather. I think there's something like 1/10 of a second difference between their 40-yard dash times, and you literally saw what that looks like in practice. And there was no way he was letting him get away. It was incredible. Done.
I'm loving the fact that people are using that actual meme, that picture for the US elections, which is the best, which is the most accurate picture you could use for it.
One of my favourite uses of that meme was after the Monday night game between the Browns and Ravens when Lamar Jackson had cramps. Someone redid it, and Buda Baker is the Browns' lead, is the caption. The caption is Lamar Jackson after he poops.
And actually, they used a really good one with Stone Cold Steve Austin coming in to the WWE ring. That was definitely one of my favorites as well. Yeah, I can't question what the hell was going on there, but he came out with real purpose. Definitely, that's for sure. Daniel, who you got?
Lighter, perhaps.
I'm trying to steer this ship away from which.
I spent a lot of time talking about that.
And you know what? We're going to end up using this as a clip for a promo as well. I just know it.
Hannah has a great shout. I mean, to be fair, there's also that DK Metcalf where he pushes the cornerback to the ground like he was nothing in his way.
Flattened him.
He flattened him like he was not a grown-ass man. I mean, if I had kids, I think he pooped his pants a little, to be fair. No, you got that. There's some honourable mentions with Deshaun Watson getting a touchdown, hitting over the Patriots. But I think it's got to be the meme of the season. Derrick Henry pushing off Josh Gordon. Like it was just like, mate, get off me. You know what I mean? It's like, it's. I think I saw one meme about sort of just so many things and so many sort of like situations and scenarios, and I think that is the best thing ever in terms of one of the best memes. It's one of the best stiff arms I've ever seen. It's definitely up there. And so for me, it was just incredible. I mean, Hannah's one with DK Metcalf. He starts the pick six, so I have to probably edge that just a little bit because Derrick Henry didn't actually get to the end zone or do anything. But even then, to this day, I don't know if Josh Norman is ever playing for Buffalo ever again with the way after that. So
I feel bad for Josh Norman because he's such a great guy. And that's now just like, that's his career, almost career defining. Everything he's done before wiped away because of that moment.
Yeah.
He handled him like a child. I've never seen, like, it literally felt like Big Brother playing against Little Brother, or Nelson Muntz playing against the rest of the characters in The Simpsons, where he literally just was just like, they were all trying to carry him, and it looked like a ladder or a snake with people just trying to, pull him back. Definitely, I can't even disagree with that. I mean, I'll give an honourable mention to Josh Allen, because I've never seen a quarterback do that before. We literally summon another challenge in week 2 against, I think it was against Miami, I believe, which is ridiculous. Josh Allen was, I never seen nothing like that before. But if you want to pick, you can take your pick with Derrick Henry each week of what he does to people. Ridiculous. So definitely, I'm with you on that one. I think we can't have any debates on that one. But let's go with best catch. Dan, I'll start with you.
This one's hard because I think I had 2. And I had Mike Gesicki catch with the Dolphins win. 2 or 3 to him. Catched it one hand and got slammed by 2 defenders. That, and to hold on to the ball, was impressive. It was immense. And I have to give.
I think the one I've got will be your other one.
So I said there was 2, and I think the second one was AJ Brown, that one-handed catch with Tennessee. I have to put those 2 there for sort of best catches. I think I know which one Hannah's going for, and I think it's going to be that team out in the desert, I believe. But for me, I'm going to go with those 2. I feel like me and Hannah are succinct when it comes to the thinking.
Yeah, I know what's going on today.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I'll go with Hannah. Shoot out Hannah.
For me, there is no competition for this one. It is Andrew Hopkins, triple coverage, Hail Murray, at the end of the Arizona Bills game. I mean, the fact that actually we're not talking about it that much shows how much has happened this season. But it was like this kind of era-defining sporting moment. It felt like it was so insane. On no level should that have worked. I mean, if you look at even how Kyler Murray is moving and his body's in a completely wrong position as he kind of lines up and has to spin himself around to get that ball going. And yeah, 3 Bills players on DeAndre Hopkins, and I think he's got 10-inch hands, I seem to remember, from when this happened, and his vertical jump is like 3 inches more than the guys that were marking him, and you just see these gloves go up, and yeah, it was phenomenal. And it was, I think, that kind of catch and that kind of play is one of the reasons we all love this game, right? It's when it's kind of what you see when you're growing up, and you see sort of American movies and like the Hail Mary at the end of the big football game, and everyone goes insane and they like win it for the school. And it's that kind of thing. It has all the magic of what this sport is. And it was a ridiculous catch. He used to catch flies as a kid. It's like, if you can catch a fly, you can catch anything. So there you go, kids. And you'll be a legendary wide receiver in the NFL.
I mean, I'll give a little honorable mention. Devonta Adams done some crazy catches this year. 42-yard catch. I think it's against the Eagles as well. There was another one in the red zone. I can't remember who it was against, but it was just like literally, obviously I'm paying more attention to that for obvious reason, for fantasy reasons. Like, this guy is like amazing in there. But yeah, I can't. This is a bit too kumbaya for my liking, with us not agreeing on pretty much too much stuff. So let's get into the Rookie of the Year. Hannah, who have you got for that?
I've actually got someone that we've already mentioned. I'm going Justin Herbert for all the reasons that you mentioned earlier, Dre. He's so resilient. I think there were relatively low expectations of him. I think in a way, him sort of being thrown into start when that bizarreness with Tara Taylor's punctured lung happened, and we haven't heard much more about that for some time now. I think that helped him because it went in and it was like, whatever you do today is going to be good. And he impressed. And then the pressure is on to maintain that. And I think he had a really bad game one week. I think it was like week 13. Then week 14, he bounced back, completed 80% of his, it was against Falcons, completed 80% of his passes, orchestrated a game-winning drive down late on in the fourth quarter, which isn't difficult necessarily to do against the Falcons because we know how they can be. But still, it shows that bounce-back ability that can take a while to get. Someone, a rookie quarterback, you need that resilience and to be able to regroup effectively. And I think I'm always impressed watching him. I think his sheer size, I think he makes arguably the worst defensive line in the league look a lot better, because when he drops back, just with 2 steps, he's getting like an extra God knows how much and buying acres of time. And he's tied 9th in the league with 25 touchdown passes at the time of recording, which I think is great for a rookie who didn't start. Was it the second or third week he started? I forget. But yeah, for me, I think he is, if I was drafting a rookie quarterback to set up my franchise for the future, I would definitely take him over the others that we've seen this year. And he just needs better decision making going on coaching side and a few more weapons around him. And I think they haven't had a lot of wins. They've had some they've had some close losses. Came up with a new phrase, chargering. But I think if you are a Chargers fan, there is only reasons to be optimistic.
I heard you kind of intimate that Anthony Lynn's seat is hot. Are you alluding to that?
Yeah, it's one of those, everyone likes him, don't they? Like, you can't not like Anthony Lynn, especially if you watched Hard Knocks over the summer. He is such a nice guy, such a good guy. No one's got a bad word to say about him. But if you look at some of the decisions they've made late on in games, and if you look at how they're approaching things and their game planning, and defensively as well, not just, their defense is a whole other issue, but, on both sides of the ball, and on special teams a little bit, I just think there have been some questionable decisions, and when you've got your future franchise quarterback and you know what he is now capable of, you have to get the decision-making right and the play-calling right.
Dan, what say you, sir?
This is why Hannah's your bestie, because I'm not going to lie, Hannah's logic to every decision she makes, whether you agree or not, is freaking phenomenal.
Should have been up. I can reason an argument.
Yeah, maybe go into a lawyer. Hannah, I might have to think you should retrain into a lawyer, so you could.
Oh yeah, All
right. NFL lawyer. But look, no, Hannah's got a great point in terms of Justin Herbert. I think for me, yes, there were question marks. He came off Oregon. He's got a big arm, big kid. He's really good. He's got quite the pose. I think in terms of Rookie of the Year, it's almost a hard one, It's a hard one because it is between, I would say, either Jefferson, Burrow, or Herbert. And I think, I'm just trying to think if there's any other.
I think if Burrow hadn't gone out injured, it'd be a very different conversation. And I think it's really unfortunate for him that he had that horrendous hit, because I think if he was still playing at the end of this regular season, I think he'd be very much up there. I think that's gone in Justin Herbert's favour, and it's if you compared the same amount of games that they both started, it might be a bit of a different conversation. But you have to look over the whole.
I remember some NFL footage that they were showing with the mics on, just while Dan makes up his mind. I'm giving you some cover here, and I remember that a few of the referees and also one of the defensive backs was speaking to Burrow and saying, you need to go down. You need to slide. You definitely need to start doing that. And
anyway, that was what we said from the Bengals from week.
He didn't help himself in any form of way. Especially if you don't have any protection, you see someone who doesn't have protection sometimes, like Russell Wilson, just sliding as quick as you possibly can, because at the end of the day is that as long as you're in the game, there's a way for you to win it. He insisted on doing this nonsense of trying to be, hard man and running, and then, they rocked his stuff. As I said.
In fairness, though,
that wasn't what got him injured. He was in the pocket when he got.
That's what I was gonna say. He was injured in the pocket. He was injured in the pocket when
that's been coming.
He wasn't a run. Look, I'm gonna go with Hannah on this one. I just think in terms of the rookie of the year, you coming into as a wide receiver. Yes, it's tough, but you've had Adam Thielen, who's a great wide receiver, 1,000-yard catch receiver. You got Rudolph as well on tight end, who's decent, and you've got Dalvin Cook in the backfield. So you've got weapons to go again, to help you with that, and to take sort of the coverage away from you. But to come into NFL as a rookie QB is difficult, especially in an organization like the Chargers, which is not known to be a winning organization, and to change around the way they play is great. Now, what he needs to do is change their culture, but I think that's down to this sort of coaching change. I like Anthony Lynn. I think he deserves one more season based on the fact that he did win. He was winning 2 seasons ago, got them to the playoffs. So he has been to the playoffs. I think he deserves one more chance. But the decision making from the Chargers and from Anthony Lynn is shocking. It needs to improve if he's to keep his job. But I think that the family that own the Chargers, they are quite reserved when it comes to making changes. But yeah, all in all, I digress. But all in all, I think Herbert, when you look at what he's doing, he's close up there in terms of passing yards. As a rookie QB, it's pretty impressive. So yeah, for me, I will give the shout out to Justin Herbert.
So I mean, we've been talking about coaching and the coaching decisions. So let's stick to this theme. So let's go with the best coach, Hannah. Who's impressed you the most?
This is such a hard one, like really, really hard, I think. I have at times really enjoyed watching the Panthers this year, and I think what Matt Rule is doing there bodes really well. And when they get CMC healthy, which is always concerning when a running back from the season he had last year and then can't get healthy this year, it brings a sort of like Todd Gurley, Saquon Barkley kind of things to mind. But I think he's done a great job, and I think they're a team that, a couple of years down the line are going to be up there. Kevin Stefanski has done great stuff with the Browns. I think that Monday night game against the Ravens, I don't think you can say they were outcoached, and that was what lost them at all. I mean, the belief in that team and the fact that no matter how down they were and what mountains they had to climb, they kept coming back, which is not something I think the Browns would have done until fairly recently. But I'm actually going to go with the feel-good factor here, because in 2020, I think we need it. So I'm actually going to give this to Ron Rivera. I think what he has done with the Washington football team that in the last 12 months has been in chaos. It's had all the name-changing drama. He himself has been battling cancer this year and didn't drop the ball. He has had quarterback challenges as well. He's got Alex Smith back on the field. We mentioned Chase Young, and the defense are playing great, and that's what you expect with the Ron Rivera football team, right, as a defensive-minded coach. They are so far ahead of, I think, where they were expected to be. I know that I said this earlier, but at the time of recording, they are top of the NFC East. I hate to say this to you, Ray, but for me, they're currently in pole position, as it were, to get that playoff spot. I think they're the most sort of menacing NFC East team that you can look at down the stretch. I'd have to check who they've got schedule-wise, but I don't think it's too bad for them either. So I'm giving it to Ron Rivera because I think there were a lot of problems and it was a big overhaul in that Washington setup, and I think they're so far ahead of their trajectory. And he's done it whilst battling a lot of stuff off the field too. So I'm going Ron. Riverboat.
Dan, I take it it's not going to be Mike McCarthy.
No, that guy deserves to get sacked. He lied to get the job. He's now had a shocking. He's presided over one of the worst defenses in NFL history. And with no Hall of Fame quarterback in Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, my friends, you see it. This is what I'm saying. He's like one of those guys who basically he's gone on a dating app. He's posted a picture of Chris Hemsworth as himself, and then you get to the date and you realize he's lied. Then 2, he's not paying for his date, So he's presiding over the worst day, and he's probably farting throughout the whole day. It's just shocking. It's just shocking.
Are you calling Mike McCarthy a farting catfish?
Yes. In the context of coaching for the Dallas Cowboys, yes. 100%. Yes.
What has happened?
I stand by that.
What has happened to this show?
I stand by that. Anyways, going back to my pick as best coach, I think my pick for the best coach, Hannah said it before, is Kevin Stefanski. The Browns haven't been in the playoffs in a very, very long time. I think 15, 16 years. Peyton Manning won his first Super Bowl when the Browns were in the playoffs. And for that reason alone, I do respect Hannah's choice of Ron Rivera. But the Browns are a sorry organization, one of the worst in the NFL, and have been for a very long time. So to get them into the playoffs, and the fact that he's been able to sort of take the pressure off Baker, put more of the running and put more of that sort of the offense predicated on the running game with Hunt and Chubb. Chubb makes that running game and the offense go and Kevin Stefanski's got the sort of the respect of the locker room, and you look at what he's doing. I think yes, he's making the Browns competitive. Again, do I believe in Baker? No, but Kevin Stefanski, I starting to see some really good things in him. So I think for that reason, and for the fact that he's got the Browns made them a playoff contender, and they're actually a dark horse to get to the AFC Championship, he's going to be, for me, the coach of the season. But shout out to Mike Tomlin as well. If the Steelers had won their last 2 games, he probably would have been my pick.
Yeah, he's definitely. I was going to mention him. He's going to get an honourable mention, as well as an honourable mention. This is not the actual nomination. Before you start, Dan, Joe Judge.
No,
no. The reason why I'm going to say this is not just a homer pick. The reason why I'm saying this is because this man had become. He came in, and I'm on record being like, "Who the hell is this guy?" As much as with other Giants fans. And this guy, he was like soundbite king. He was rah-rah, pomp cheerleader. You play for the badge in the front, not the name in the back, and all that stuff that he was doing. And he's actually changed the culture. But it's an honourable mention because obviously he's got us to a point where we actually can qualify for the playoffs. But it's an honourable mention. I repeat, Dan and Hannah, because I know that you're going to jump in and start on this. But my actual nomination would be for Matt LaFleur. Because Matt LaFleur has actually handled the situation where he had to actually, with retrospect, even though my outrage, which obviously you can look back at the start of the season, which is on record when we did our draft special, and I think my octaves in my voice couldn't go any higher with what the hell are you doing, sentiment that I had. But he's actually had to do something where you have to plan and also motivate the QB that you actually have, even though it's Aaron the God Rodgers. But he's also managed to be able to implement a new style, an interesting style, where it's actually not having Aaron Rodgers running around being superhero each week. So, salute to you. Those are my honourable mentions. Let's see what these haters are going to say now.
Just on the Joe Judge thing, I'm not going to comment on the pick. I am just going to ask straight. I know it is the festive time of year. Should we be concerned?
No, he's done well. He's done well. I think I just had to.
Yeah, but I mean, there's doing well, and then we're talking about coach of the season. There's doing okay. There's doing well. There's exceeding expectations, but we're up here.
You see where I've gone from? I've gone from each week hardly even speaking about them unless I'm trashing them.
So
a point now I'm literally, where's my pom-poms? Literally cheering them on every week. So, let me have my moment with my team, please. You guys are used to success over there. I am not in any form, for a long time.
Thank you. There were some very dark times.
That's true. Actually, you guys haven't won a Super Bowl yet for a long time. So, anyway, we will move on before Dan says anything else.
Been on one more recently than all of you, but yeah.
Oh, wow. A bit punchy. I think I'm going to move myself over to Seattle again.
Also, Dre, you know what, yeah? I have no words. I'm actually not going to say anything. I'm just going to let the people listening listen to the garbage that you've mentioned when it comes to coaching candidates, honorable mentions. I'm not even going to say anything because also as well, I want to say this again. Can the record be showed? I rated Joe Judge from the beginning, and I told you that as well. That I think he's going to be a good coach. You should have been doing the lottery from that because no one can see. When I was seeing all of these sound bites and the first press conference, and when I actually found out who the hell he was,
But he's actually done well. He's actually changed the culture of the actual team. He's got everyone playing together, unison. The defense is good. He fired one of the coaches, and it's not Mr. Beat. You know, to be honest with you, like, hey, nowhere near ready to be able to win this whole thing. But, you know, at the end of the day,
he's your coach of the year. Sure.
But what I would say, no, he gets an honourable mention. But what I would say is that no one wants to play us, as the Seahawks found out. You know, when we shut you lot down, you know, which is like pretty much one of the most electrifying offenses. Shut you down.
Can we move on to the next question, my friends? We do not need to talk about the past. Let us move on to the next question, my friend. What is the next question? Can you bring it on, please?
So let's go on to, actually, it's a good timing, actually. Let's go on to the most impressive team. So, you know, obviously no homer picks, please. Which would you say, Hannah, is your most impressive team of the season?
So this is one where I have to say, like, when I was kind of like making my list and just kind of checking it twice and putting names to think, this one, I couldn't actually come to a conclusion. So this is now the conclusion I'm coming to. Okay. They've got a saying in medicine, right? If you hear hooves, it's a horse, not a zebra. So in the NFL in 2020, applying that theory, I'm going to say the Chiefs, because we have got so used to them playing at this ridiculous level. Yeah. And lo and behold, they've only lost one game this year against the Raiders. That was their first loss in a full year. That's it. Patrick Mahomes is doing more Patrick Mahomes type things every week. Travis Kelce, as we mentioned, is leading the league in receiving yards. Tyreek Hill is tearing it up. And you get the sense, or at least I do, that we're only about like this far into Andy Reid's playbook that's like this deep. We're going to see more from them through the playoffs, and they're going to hit fifth gear in time for the Super Bowl. And that's with their defense being nowhere near what it was last year. Like nowhere near. But for me, I mean, I don't think they're the most like complete team necessarily. Like I said, the defense isn't what it was. But I look at the Steelers and think defense good, offense, it's been faltering, it's been sputtering, and they're not that fun to watch. The Bills, I think, are looking more and more complete as we head towards the playoffs, and they're a scary prospect, but they've been a bit up and down. The Packers look great too, but for me, I just think, you know, if it comes to Sunday and it's like, oh, what game should I watch? I'm always gonna be interested in watching the Chiefs, because they're always gonna do something entertaining and great. And for me, I can't help but think we're gonna see back-to-back Super Bowl wins for them right now.
What you got? What are you saying, Dan?
Look, Hannah makes a good point, but for me, the word impressive is where the key I'm going to put in, because when I say impressive, it surprises me. And that's what I'm going to say when I talk about impressive. And the team that surprised me the most has been the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I do not think that they are an 11-2 team. That's why I think they're the most impressive team, because they are more than what their record shows. The Steelers really should be like a 9-4 team, maybe 8 wins at best, maybe 9. So for me, they've been impressive in being able to win and win by luck. And for me, that's impressive. To be able to win in the NFL is a hard thing. To win 11 games is even harder. To go almost a season where you were talked about on a beaten scale, to do what you've never done in your franchise. And I remind you, the 70s was the Steelers' decade, and they've never went 11 games straight unbeaten. So for me, that is impressive. Like Kansas Chief, would I say I'm impressed by them? No, because I expect Mahomes to do what Mahomes did. Yes, I know.
But this is my point, and I know I've been guilty of this throughout this season. Just because they've done it before and we expect it of them does not mean it is not impressive. What they are doing week in, week out is impressive. It is the beginnings of a dynastical football team, I think. And I think we are all guilty of taking it a little bit for granted because we expect it. It doesn't mean it's not impressive.
I hear what you're saying. I think the only flip side to that, or my counter argument, is with the Patriots. When the Patriots got into the playoffs year in, year out, I don't remember anyone saying, "Oh, that's impressive." It was expected. Now, don't get me wrong. They said the dynasty was impressive, and everyone, I think, would admit that the dynasty, 20 years, 6 Super Bowls, 9 Super Bowl appearances, freaking impressive. But I think when they were getting into the playoffs every year, they weren't as impressive.
Different style of football, though. I think.
True.
I think that's where the difference lies. I really do, because I think The Patriots, yes, what they achieved was impressive, but was it always entertaining? No, it was defense first, which does its job and it does win you 6 championship rings. I think that's the difference. I think the Chiefs is entertaining, and sport is meant to be entertainment, right?
True. So, I mean, I'll give you that. I think who else has been impressive? I think Miami defensively have been very impressive. I've been very surprised with the way they've turned around that team defensively. They're basically doing a sort of a Seattle sort of thing where, you're getting a great defense, you get a rookie QB or relatively rookie QB and you go through there. So they've been impressive. The Browns have been impressive in a sense of the way they've been able to run the ball.
Yeah.
The duo, the tandem has been impressive. I'm still not a fan of Baker, but defensively and offensively, they've been good. And I have to say this, and I know Dre's probably going to be shouting in the background of yes, the subtraction of Odell Beckham has actually improved the Browns, because now Baker isn't forcing the ball at Odell. He's going through his progressions, he's going through his read, and he's learning to become a better quarterback by doing that. I think OBJ was better with a sort of Tom Brady, not with a sort of a rookie quarterback in Baker. So I've got from there. And in the NFC, you got the Saints, great defensively. They've been impressive. Personally, for me, I've been surprised with the way Taysom's played. But Drew Brees is Drew Brees. He's going to come back soon. The Packers have been impressive.
You're going through
I think
with all every 32. All 32
no.
teams?
No. That's it. Those are my 2 impressive teams.
And you
I
guys
have to be also.
You guys are both
impressed.
Not. I'm baffled, and I was thinking I'm going to give them enough air to be able to remember this team. The Bills.
The Bills.
She did say the Bills.
Oh, you said the Bills?
And I said the Bills.
For me, the issue with the Bills, and what I will say as well quickly, is I couldn't agree with you more with the OBJ thing. When he got injured, I remember saying on Overtime on Sky Sports, I was like, I don't think that this is that big of a loss for them. Like, and down the line, here we are. And like you say, it's forcing Baker Mayfield to read what's in front of him.
You know you're going to see him, don't you? And you're going to, you're going to see him. you more than us see him.
This is the one thing I would say with the Bills. I think the Bills are playing great football, and I'm excited to watch them in the playoffs because I think they're back on the up. But for me, they started really well, and then the dip is what, and a few teams have done that this year, of course. That's what happens, especially in a 2020 season where nothing is normal. But I think the Bills had that blip at the wrong time. And yes, they're coming good now, and I imagine I think they'll go relatively deep in the playoffs. But they just that dip made me question them just a little bit. Whereas I think the most complete team, bar the Saints.
You know what? I right now with this actual award, obviously we're coming near to the end of this lovely program of ours. Like, I'm enjoying this talk with you guys. I've missed this, for the last week or so. I would say this is that there's a few teams that are actually stacked all the way through defensively and offensively. So I would say, obviously, Hannah's Rams are set, defensively and offensively.
From time to time, especially at that QB spot.
No, well, again, you're going to see him, and you're going to have to answer his questions. I support you. I support you, my brother. But I would say with the Bills, they seem ready, and I think they've had a forget about the blip. The end of the day is that every team has a blip. Remember, this is a new coach. Relatively new coach, new team, putting the scheme together. The culture's changed. If you're looking at like the trade that they did to get Stephon Diggs, this stuff. Everything I've seen from them, especially with the QB that they've got, is strong. Not many teams. They're putting a display the other day as well. So I'm not saying that they're going to win the whole thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they beat. Someone like the Chiefs on the way there, Dan?
So, Dre.
I can't see anyone actually beating the Chiefs. I know the Raiders did it, but I can't see anyone stopping them. The Bills, arguably. But...
So, Dre, first of all, and I don't mean to call you out, but Sean McDermott is not a new coach, and he's been there for a very long time now. Yeah. He's established coach, great head coach, great defensive coach as well. My problem with the Bills is their running game outside of Josh Allen sucks. It's not that great. It really isn't. David Singleton has flattened he's failed to impress. They can't seem to run the ball well. Now, the thing that's going to beat the Kansas Chiefs is you need to get them off the field as long as you can, because we've seen it
Mm-hmm.
They were 10 down against Miami, and they went 30 without us like that. Tyreek Hill, he's just insanely fast. I just don't think people understand how fast this man is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's coming into the own. You then have Travis Kelce, who in my opinion is fast becoming the best tight end of all time. So he's basically a wide receiver built like a tight end. Defensively, they're not that great, and that's where my worry is. I think they're ranked 22nd at this time of the recording in defense, and so I'm a little bit worried about them defensively. Last year, they were ranked in the top 20 when they went into the Super Bowl. So I'm a bit worried about that. I think they're 26th actually. So I'm a bit worried about that, but
their defense is not what it was.
But he's not.
No, it's not. Frank Clark has not been impressive. He's been paid.
Well, what I would
and he's
say
not done the business.
He's not a new coach, but this is a new team that's been put together. So what I would say is that with the new team that's been put together, the end of the day is that there's going to be, ebbs and flows with this team. And I think that at the end of the day is that they've had their bad period of time where if you come out of a bad run, sometimes, teams have a great run at the start, hit some adversity, and then that's the end of them. For them to be able to hit that wall and actually come back even stronger and put on a display like they did the other day, then that's quite good. I mean, I would say Singletary's getting better, but Zach Moss has been brilliant for the season. I'm not saying that they're going to win the whole thing, but as I said before, I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as a Chiefs repeat as well. Obviously, because I've put my money on the Packers to win because I believe in my boy Aaron Rodgers so much. But besides that, I actually do rate the Bills very much so because obviously, look where they were before. When our dear friend Kevin, co-founder of this program, was alive, he used to have to take jokes from us every week about his team. And now look, you don't want to play them. That's what it is. It's about momentum. It's not about the stats. It's not about what's happened during the season. It's about momentum. Who has momentum now? And I'll say that the Bills definitely have momentum. The Rams definitely have momentum. So those are the two teams that I'm looking at. Obviously the Seahawks have just started to get momentum. I would say Packers have definitely got momentum as well. So it's who has the momentum at the right time? Because you have a great season, but at the end of the day, it just takes one game. As the Patriots found out, the Giants didn't stand a chance. But at the end of the day, the momentum was in our favor at that time, and we won the championship.
Bring it back to the Giants, will you? But no, in fairness, one shout out though is Andy Reid off a bye is incredible. His record off a bye is insane.
Yeah.
If the Kansas City Chiefs get that bye, and the thing is, the only real people is the Steelers, and Steelers, I don't think I really can't see them going. They've got to beat the Colts, the Browns, and I can't remember who they're playing again after. I think it might be they're playing the Bengals. So for me, when you look at that, Andy Reid off a bye is insane. When you look at that record, it's like Belichick versus rookies. He's 21-5. It's just insane. So for me, I worry because once they get to that first seed, I don't know if there's a team that can beat them off a bye.
But it depends on the momentum that they have from the game before. This is what I'm saying is that the Chiefs had their momentum last year, and then obviously they had the offense and a QB that people hadn't seen before. People got a year's tape, a year and a bit tape on this guy. So therefore, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't go as planned. I know you guys, it will benefit one of you guys anyway. Definitely. So let's get on to the last category, which is best game. Hannah, what have you got?
I might have an element of recency bias here.
No, I know. A days ago recency bias.
Monday Night Football, Ravens 47, Browns 42, 9 rushing touchdowns in the game, almost 90 points. Also, the longest, fumblest, most bizarre end of a game ever, resulting in a safety. It was pure entertainment. It was pure thrill. It was the Browns showing that they've got some fight in them and fighting back time and time again. And then Lamar Jackson returned to the field and playing like the 2019 MVP. For me, when it's prime time and the score is that high, it is fun to watch. And that is why we love football.
Dan?
Mate, I'm going to have to agree with Hannah. I mean, it's one of the best Monday night games I've seen. You got maybe arguably the Rams versus the Chiefs 2 seasons ago in Mexico City. But, mate, it was back and forth, back and forth. You didn't really know where the tide was going. Lamar was out. The Browns take the lead. Lamar comes back, rushes out, throws it to Hollywood Brown, and, it's game over effectively. Justin Tucker, shout out to him. Great kicker. Probably one of the best kickers in the NFL history. And, he's just clutched from 50 yards out. So, for me, it's got to be that game. Like, it was just great. It was end to end. It was fantastic. And, I don't really think, like, there have been great games before. You got maybe the Seattle versus the Patriots and early in the season when, went down to the wire. It's been some really good games in that respect. But, yeah, for me, that's got to be the game of the season. At the time of recording, we might see different.
Yeah, there might be.
Where we are now, ahead of week 15, 16, 17, I feel we're unlikely to see any.
Yeah, we're right at the end now. Definitely. You know what? The game I enjoyed the most, which is weird, was the Raiders at the Jets. Like, that was amazing. Like that, because the thing is that, like, I think it was funny. It's the first game that I've seen where both sets of teams of fans were like both like, no, Jets can't win. So it's like, so when that Hail Mary throw to Ruggs was going through, I think everyone was celebrating. If fans were allowed back, I think the stadium would be rocking. Everyone would be celebrating, because it was like, why are you doing it all to be able to not get that number one pick? And that's what the Jets fans want. And it's like, it came so close to maybe not happening.
That defensive play call on that last play is still one of the most extraordinary coaching decisions I've ever made. And that is how you get yourself sacked, Greg Williams. Mixing that many guys to the pass rush and leaving that end zone covered by an undrafted rookie. Smart move.
They're tanking for Lawrence. I'll
tell you what happened. Let me explain to you before we finish, like, what happened there. Greg Williams is one of those testosterone guys. And he looked across and he saw, other defensive coaches, he saw sort of, the starlight, possibly, the stardom of him being able to say, I'm the one who stopped this team. And he got his balls out and he said, you know what, mine are bigger than yours. And that there is what got him, fired. It's because he always has to do the machismo. I'm going to rush you. I'm going to blitz you move. It was so obvious it was going to happen. It made no sense for you to do that at that time. But that's what gets you fired.
I also think there's an element of someone had to go there generally with their record, and he made it quite easy to make it him after that decision. Anyway, but that's a downer, because the real game of the season was the Ravens-Browns.
Yep, I agree on that.
That definitely was.
Defense wins championships, but offense wins fans.
Right, guys, I'm going to give you, because we're not going to do the MVP. We're not going to do that. But what I wanted you guys to pick is like a couple of people who you think that could be in the mix or should be in the mix for MVP. So I'll start off with, because Hannah looks confused, I'll start off with Hannah.
For the magnitude of the decision. Aaron Rodgers. Actually, I might just go Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. I'm gonna do. There's three players. My homeboy, Patty Mahomeboy, right there in Kansas City. You then have Aaron Rodgers, the beast, the man, the legend, the Rodgers, and you got to put Derrick Henry up there. You have to put Derrick Henry.
Three of those. Fair enough.
And those are sort of my three short list for stuff. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put a fourth one there. And it's just because it's a special mention, because of what he's been able to do. And MVP is actually most valuable player. You take this man out of this team, this team is a 0-16 team, I guarantee you. Like with Kansas City, take Mahomes out, they can still win games. Green Bay, they'll still win games. You take out Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans, you are a 0-16 team. That man has single-handedly won games for that franchise, and he has to be up there for MVP.
Every single week, my overwhelming thought on a Sunday or on a Monday, once I've watched highlights of all the games, every week I just say to myself, Deshaun Watson deserves better. And my hope for him in 2021 is that he gets given better coaching, better weapons, better everything. Deshaun Watson deserves better.
And again, let me just put the shout out as well. Deshaun Watson is second in passing yards, only after Patrick Mahomes. With who? Brandon Cooks. He's had receivers out because they've been drug tested. He's had his number one receiver traded. He's got a running back that's non-existent. Mate, Deshaun Watson is doing miracles. And when they fumbled that snap, I was going to cry for my boy. I literally was. I was going to shed tears because it was like, you're doing this guy. He's brought you back from the brink against a team that you really shouldn't even be close to. And Deshaun, what are they doing? Like the Houston.
I think everyone can actually look out for our forthcoming interview with the Houston Texans. Elite.
What I'm saying is, Deshaun Watson on the show, I will give up my mortgage to speak to Deshaun Watson. He's my boy.
Somewhat of polishing going on here, but I'm going to put my nomination, and I think we all know where we're going. Mr. Aaron Rodgers, it's got to be. Come on now. I don't have any say in this thing, but come on. Like, look at the pressure that he had on him. Look what the production he's got. If you take him out of the team, I'm sorry, they will not win, as you've seen before. It just won't happen. They will still win games.
No, they don't. Houston about Deshaun. Who are they winning? What they winning?
No hope.
Yeah, well, maybe.
But sadly, when your team's that bad, you haven't really got a chance to MVP because what you're doing isn't backed up by results.
Exactly. So, I'm very sure that the people see straight and actually give Aaron Rodgers the rightful award that he deserves to have. Hannah, it has been amazing to have you back again. Thank you so much. Can you?
With you guys, I missed you.
I'm going to put you on the spot. You know I always do that.
Much. It's just like the ride that is 2020 just got even weirder with the amount we just agreed.
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, if we look at it this way, if we didn't have this pandemic happen, and shout out to all the NHS workers who've looked after everyone and kept everyone safe and well, and please everyone,
and school workers and school workers
and key workers and store operators and everyone who's public facing. Salute to you guys. But we wouldn't have met. Being honest, like we wouldn't have had this if we wouldn't have met Hannah. We wouldn't have had the hurry up. We wouldn't have had all of these types of things that we've got now. So but please, people, wear a mask, keep safe, make sure that you wash your hands and do all these things because we want to be doing this show in person. I'm sick and tired of doing this from my bedroom. I'm getting complaints about these jerseys because there's more and more being delivered every week, and I don't know where to put them anymore. So
I have got plenty of room if you want to send some this
you
way.
are owed a jersey, Hannah. Just before we go, I'll put you on the spot. What have we got on Sky Sports NFL this week?
Depends, Dre. When is this show going out?
It is that's a very good question with many answers, and it will be going out soon. But anyway, when you see it, that's when it's out, people. You can see who's a television professional compared to us.
Let's go for week 16.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. It's only week 15. I don't know till next week either. I literally get told right before we do overtime because that's when we announce it. So I tell you what, you will find out first if you tune into NFL Overtime on Sky Sports NFL at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. And as I say that, I realise you will, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's just leave it at that because we've all been, this has been embarrassing enough as it is. And Hannah saved us by, the ultimate professional that she is. Dan, what have you got coming up, sir?
Not much, mate. Just Christmas, cooking, as always. Chef Louis in the house. But no, we got the extra time. We got some more shows. We got more fans coming onto the program talking about basketball. We've got the basketball season, and we're doing a sort of special sort of quiz on one-on-one. Who would you rather have, LeBron or MJ? So definitely listen on and find out what everyone's got to say about that.
I think it's clearly MJ. But I thank you guys for watching. Just before you guys go, sprouts or no sprouts on your table for Christmas Day? Hannah, no sprouts. Dan?
Oh, mate, sprouts. But I'll do it in sprouts. You do it in bake. So you cook it in butter, put some bacon in it. So you put stuff and some red and caramelized, like sweet red onions as well. And then you just try to make it from there.
See?
That sounds like good stuff, to be fair.
You learned something new, so I expect to see that on Instagram, on both of your stories on the
I'm
day.
I'm vegetarian, so I'm not going to have the bacon.
Or that with fish.
Definitely.
I did not know you were a vegetarian, Hannah. Okay. How long have you been a vegetarian?
3 years?
Oh, that's what's up.
Vegetarian. So
That is another exclusive for you SportsHeads fans. Anyway, I will leave you guys before you completely fall asleep on this. Check us out over the Christmas. Check us out over the Christmas period on vergemagazine.co.uk. Check us out on Alt Sports on Instagram and Verge Magazine, or at Verge Mag on Instagram, and obviously the SportsHeads official on Instagram, and all of those lovely things. We're going to have lots of content going up for you. At time of recording, we are heading towards the playoffs. We are looking forward to Christmas. We are looking forward to a nice break. Hannah's looking forward to watching games. I'm looking forward to winning this championship that needs to come home, for fantasy fans all rooting for me, pure aficionado. Anyway, before I talk on any more rubbish, I'm Andre Dixon, Dan Falui, Hannah Wilkes. We're out. Christmas.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.